In this section for today's episode, we are going to talk about accessibility. It's a really important issue that we haven't dedicated time to, and nonetheless, we should always consider when designing an app. And that is, how do we make it usable and accessible? This is our current view of the app. I have added some images here to the rest of our assets using the photo capture capability that we built last week. And to figure out how things are made accessible, we are going to employ the same strategy we used earlier during session number 2. And that is, we're going to go through a dissection process of some elements that we know work well for accessibility purposes, so that we can apply it to those that are not working well. So let's take a look to start out with. Here's our app, and you will notice that when you move the mouse over some graphical elements like the cross here, where we add new items, actually a label surfaces that says create new item. Similarly for sorting and refreshing the list or for viewing items. But if we go to the pictures that are added to our asset list, those don't have that same functionality. Similarly, when we go here, we will see that the delete item has a label that surfaces, but our picture doesn't. And then when we go to edit mode, we notice that our scan has no tooltip either and no label that comes up. So we need to make some adjustments to our app to make it more usable for all kinds of users. So let's go to the beginning and take a look. So we know that this icon here works. This is our onSelect function, but if we dig further down, we will find our tooltip function. And this icon was created by the system, so it automatically created a label for it. There's another property that is part of a number of other controls, but it's not present in all of them. Nonetheless, we should look at it for those that actually have it, and is the accessible label. So what the accessible label does in this particular case is to say, hey, look at my own information and present the tooltip as the accessible label. So the screen readers for the visually impaired can actually pick up the information about the fact that this is a create new item icon. Let's go to our editor screen and look at our edit form. So let's go to our button, and you will notice that it does have a tooltip available to it, but it doesn't have an accessible label property. Nonetheless, we should still work with the tooltip. So you notice that by default it's empty. So what we will add here is click the scan barcode. This will help our users make better use of the app. So you notice now when we go here and we float the mouse over there, little label surfaces right underneath that says click to scan barcode. You can also find the tooltip, by the way, here in the common properties, in the easy to use properties. So let's go back to the browse screen and take a look at our pictures. We could actually add a tooltip and make it accessible at the same time. Remember that anything we do on this first cell of the gallery will be replicated down. We could just go here and on the tooltip, which currently has no value, we could write something like HD TV display. Now, when we go here and we float our mouse over, it'll say HD TV display. Big problem is, so does the printer, so does the computer, so does the microphone. So there's a trick we can use to actually address that issue. We can customize the label so that it presents the proper information. So we're going to go down this side and go to our tooltip. Instead of putting HD TV display, what we will tell it to do is actually use this name here, the name of the asset. So we're going to say this item asset, and then I'm going to have and I'm going to put a space in between the next label by doing that. And then we're going to add this item type. And then, just to be thorough, I have, say, photo. Okay, so this item asset, so that we'll put that variable there. Then we're going to put a space. Then we're going to add the type. And then to have them cleanly separated, we're going to have space photo attached to that. Let's take a look at what that looks like. So now when we run our mouse over, it says Samsung HD display, which is a type photo. And here, HBA1 printer photo. And here, Surface laptop photo, and so on and so forth. So with a single change, we have added a tooltip to all of these. But remember, there is also the accessibility label. So we're going to go here to accessible label, go up, click on that. And what we use here is self. So look at my own information. And then what do I want from my own information? I want the tooltip. So the accessible label for this is going to be Samsung HD display photo, and so on and so forth, just like we did with the tooltip. So with that very simple change, we have added accessibility functions to the whole app. We can actually, and we're going to take advantage of this, do that also. Going to copy this. And when we go to our detail screen, we're going to add that to our tooltip. And notice that I didn't have to unlock this card to change that. And again, I'm going to do the accessible label, and just like we did before, self dot tooltip. Simple changes making a huge difference for people that don't have the same privileges we do. So this is the accessibility part. With no code, you have made huge changes to your app that will make it accessible to others. So we're going to move to the next section. And in the meantime, like Arya and Jenny say, keep it low code.